Welcome to Module 5, the first part of the Resume Builder. We'll actually be discussing the Resume Builder over the next 4 sections. You'll see here this is a freshly created job seeker account that a staff has created. When I logged into it as a staff, it took me straight into their dashboard, which actually a job seeker, when they're doing it themselves, it will not let them access this page until they create a resume themselves, because a lot of this functionality doesn't work until they have a resume in place. Now, as a staff, you can go in here and hit create or upload a resume, or you can go up here and hit create or upload a resume. And you'll see here, it gives you the options here: create, upload, or paste. We'll talk about the upload and paste in a later section. I'm going to go ahead and just click create, hit start resume, and it'll take you right into the resume builder. The resume is on a guided path, which means that you must complete each tab in order to get to the next one. Once you complete it, you can go back. So once you complete any tab, you can go back to the previous tab once you've saved. So you'll do each tab at a time, but you can always go back and update something if you forgot some information. You'll see here all the different tabs across the top. Resume title is not required at this time, but once we have multiple resume feature enabled, you'll want to go in and give each resume a different title, which actually they'll look a little different as well. They're redesigning the resume builder for multiple resumes. It's an ongoing project. But currently, you'll see the work history tab here first, which is what we're going to discuss in this first Module 5. So you'll see here, there are special instructions for those veterans, homemakers, volunteers, or those without job history. So if you open that up, it'll talk to you a bit more about each of those situations. You can put a veteran work history in, and they'll try to find you questions or texts that relate to civilian equivalency. If you actually type in homemaker, caregiver, or home manager, it will do a special questionnaire about those particular skills. And you can do your volunteer activities in this section, but only if they were paid, probably, or if it would create a big gap in your resume if you didn't include them here. A lot of times you can just put that in your add-in section, which you see is a later on tab up here. And then if somebody doesn't have any work history, like if they're straight out of school, straight out of the military, and they just want to put it in their military section later on in the profile, they could just click this to jump straight to the contact tab, because we understand there could be somebody who does not have any work history whatsoever, so we don't want them to be stuck. So they would be able to click this to skip the work history tab. Now let's just say this job seeker does have a work history. You'll see here you can put a job title in. This also has jump ahead text, so if I start typing a job title in, it should start to pre-populate for me. You'll see here, and I can select one. Say I'm an arc welder. You can say who the employer was, the start and end date. If they're still currently working there, you can click this and you see it'll hide the end date. What location they were in. And they do have to put a wage unit. This information isn't displayed on the resume, but is collected for statistical purposes, mainly for WIOA reporting. When you hit save and move to the next step, it'll take you to the next step in the work history. So you'll see here, it'll actually ask me first to select a job title detail. And to ask us the right questions, they need to know what the job was. So You can put any job title in, but it's going to need to match up with what are called occupational codes, or ONETs. It will put the 5 best matches that they can find by keyword listed here. But if you don't see one that matches, you can always go through the hierarchy down here. But this welder one should suffice. When I go on to the next tab, it's going to ask me about various skills that I did at that job. And you see it has a customized, tailored questionnaire for every single one. This is often called the job wizard. So you'll see, you can go through here. Some of them are free text, so you can talk about your welding process. Other ones are simply yes, no. And you see, as I select them, down here at the bottom, it will actually show you what the statements are going to look like. You can only do up to 12. And that's just to make sure that they aren't putting way too much information on there, because you want to highlight the particular skills that really you want to highlight for each job. You don't want to go in and write a book that the employer would have to read. Now, some of these you'll see are actually checkboxes as well, so you can have more than ones within the same statement. Just want to show you the error message I get if I try to go over 12. Just to let you know, if something's important to you, unselect one of the other ones to choose it. Once you've gone through and done all this, you hit save and move to next step. Now, the only way to get around that really is to, you can type additional statements in here later. See, because this is free text, or I can go in and remove one. If you want it to have a bullet, you have to put one of these little asterisks next to it, and that will display a bullet on the resume if bullets are part of the particular style of that resume. Now, sometimes it won't find keywords, but it will most of the time have additional statements that you can add. You can see them here, some of which are a little bit more detailed than you saw in the previous questionnaire. So you can choose those and add them, and it'll send them right over to this side. Now, one other thing to note on work history is that if you have one job title, but you really did more than one type of job within the same that same particular field, you could actually describe other job activities by selecting a different keyword. So if you click this, you could put something in. So you were a welder, but you also did accounting work on the side. See, you could actually go through the very similar steps, but here in a pop-up instead. And you would just go through the same steps that you did before, up to 12. And what it's going to do is it's just going to pop those statements into the same box with the other ones. But you can do that as many times as you need to in order to get the information here that you'd need. Now, if you have more than one job, you could hit the save and add another job, and it'll automatically take you back into the step where you add another job. If you're done and you want to move forward, you just click save and move to next step. Now, we do have a feature built in that if you only put one job in, it's going to make sure that you didn't forget something. So if I click this, it's going to ask me, just because you only put one job in your work history, did you have additional jobs you wanted to highlight? And it's just a fail-safe there to make sure that you're not accidentally didn't click the wrong one up here. So I could say, oh, okay, yeah, I do want to add another job. And see, that would take me back here to add another job. We'll go ahead and do another one really quick just to show you. And you see, it's really simple. You just type in the various fields. You just have to make sure you have the information available, different dates. Select a few statements. Review your job description. Add any additional statements you'd like. If you had any other job duties, you could add them here. Or you can hit save and move to that. That will take you over to the contact tab. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this second job, and then I'm going to go back to the work history tab just to show you what it looks like once you have a few jobs listed there, how it looks like when you can go back and edit. So you see here, it's going to show my list of jobs. I can actually click add another job if I wanted to put additional work history in. If I want to delete one, you can do that here. If you need to go back into a particular job just to edit it, maybe you put the wrong dates in, maybe you wanted to describe a little bit more information, you could hit edit this job. That's something we recommend to job seekers, especially if they're not getting good matches once they're done with the resume. A lot of times you can have them come back to the work history tab and just add a little bit more information about each of their jobs, and that can make a world of difference in how the application can match them to various jobs, because it'll know a lot more about what they did at their previous employment. So they can go in and edit those jobs, add more details, and then go on from there. So that's the work history tab of the Resume Builder. And the next module, we'll be talking about the contact and education tabs.